Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, CHIKARA Action Arcade Wrestling for the PC, exclusively on Steam. Later to be released on consoles including the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and potentially Nintendo Switch. I did a review of the beta, had the opportunity to play the CHIKARA Action Arcade Wrestling beta. The focus of the game when it comes to the in-ring action is simply striking, grappling, running, jumping, all the stereotypical actions that you could do in, say, a 16-bit wrestling game. There's no real convoluted control scheme. The attacks and the grappling are all based on one button respectively, with, say, hitting the grapple button and holding it longer will allow for a stronger grapple, very similar to the Aki games of No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000, and then you hit up or down or left or right or none at all, just hitting the grapple button again to perform a maneuver that is specific to whatever character you're playing, with a roster that is actually pretty extensive. From an in-ring perspective, especially locally, AAW is very, very fun. Playing with a friend will feel like old times. You don't have to go out of your way to explain how this works, how that works. It's very simplistic, it's very old school, and it works. One of the biggest positives that I took away from the beta was the implementation of power-ups. These power-ups could not only be collected after performing some big maneuver or completing what we call a spot, which is a challenge that happens mid-match, like utilize quick grapple left on the directional pad, and you will get a potential power-up that could boost your health or boost your defenses when activated. Those return here as well. There are, of course, issues when it comes to the hit detection, when it comes to some of the more precise timing issues. It doesn't take away from the overall enjoyment, it doesn't hurt the overall match flow, but there are issues that will pop up from time to time very randomly. One thing that wasn't available when it came to the beta, that is of course available in the full game, is the extra match modes. And this is where, to me, the game starts getting disappointing. The match modes themselves definitely leave a lot to be desired. Every match is a battle royal, or a tornado match, or a multi-man match. It's never a traditional, say, tag match. When they announced there would be tag matches in this, I assumed that it would be traditional. I assumed that we would have people on the apron, we would have people in the ring, people would tag in and out traditionally. It would be traditional tag matches. But every tag match, no matter if it's 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, is a battle royal. It's a tornado match. I noticed more technical issues when it came to 4 people in the ring at a time. Clipping, bad animations, and there were points where I would just teleport out of the ring. Online, which was absolutely atrocious on the beta. It's not as bad here as it was in the beta, but it's still pretty bad. Beyond the fact that it will take an eternity to find a match. When you do, it'll be laggy, it'll be glitchy, it will have those bad animations, and it will be very difficult to enjoy. There's also a lack of modes online, where all you can do is singles matches right now. They are promising new modes later on, so I'm intrigued to see how that progresses. But right now, still, online needs a lot of work before it's really fully functional and enjoyable. One of the biggest positives, hands down, is the creation tools. Not only can you create pretty much any wrestler you can think of, you can also create your own rings and arenas that look absolutely phenomenal. You can share those and people can download them. The abilities are limitless when it comes to creation in this game. I think it's one of, if not the best creation tools in any wrestling game right now. Overall, CHIKARA Action Arcade Wrestling is a budget title. It's obvious. It's only $15 on Steam. And it's going to take a lot of work to make you feel like you've invested wisely in that $15. If you have a friend who enjoys old school wrestling games, this is well worth the investment. But if you're looking simply to play online, this isn't for you. This is not a good choice. If you just want to create people, create wrestlers, create arenas, and have your own fun by yourself, I say go with it. It's actually a very fun game, very intuitive game, especially from an in-ring local perspective, but a lot of lacking features, no real match types that are beyond either battle royals or just singles matches, and only the promise of things to come. It may be wiser to wait to see what they add to it, what the game eventually becomes in, say, 6 months, because the foundation actually is very, very good. But right now, it's just a little too bare bones for a full recommendation. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. CHIKARA Action Arcade Wrestling, exclusively for Steam. Now, if you don't mind, I gotta get my lucha mask. I have to decide if I would rather challenge the Immortal Hulk Hogan in his Hasbro version, or the Macho Man Randy Savage in his LGN version. Or maybe I could take on a number 2 pencil, or Pac-Man, or Homer Simpson, or anyone that when it's all said and done, and that bell rings for the 3 count, they'll have no choice but to shout, "Oh Lordy!"